You're listening to All Burgundy and Gold Everything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia. Your hosts are Wole, Ray, and Glen. The homie Mo is out. What's going on, fellas?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling. Excited for week 2 of Washington Commanders football.
Yeah, definitely week 2. They got to play better.
Gotta play better.
Gotta play better. You know what I'm saying?
Week 2. Glenn, you always excited about Commanders football. It's not just
you know what? I'm committed. I'm happy about football season in general. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you on that one.
It's football season, right? And you can't hurt when your team is 1-0, even though they didn't play well.
Yeah,
they still 1-0.
That's true. Optimism.
You know,
I feel
and so there's a lot of things going on. It's good times, good feelings.
Look, Ray, man, y'all want it over, right? You an Atlanta fan. Y'all want it. You get it. You feel a little
not
something.
Worried about that. But the fact that you got a division opponent playing on a Thursday night, are you going to be watching as a sort of scout, seeing what the Eagles look like on Thursday?
They're on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, watch a little bit from what they did against New England. They may not be the same team they were last year, but it's early. It's early. You can't judge anything off of week 1, right?
True. True. That is true.
You can't judge it.
Yes, you can. If you're a Jets fan, you can judge a lot because it's gonna be a long season if you got Zach Wilson as your starter.
Well,
you know what?
They got a defense though.
They do. They got bomb defense, dog. I think it's ridiculous.
They got a defense, so they may win. They may win more people think. They're not on the clock. I'm put it this way: the Jets are not on the clock.
Man, they're not getting Caleb Williams. Their defense is too good to get Caleb Williams. Their defense is too good. They got like a top 5. You saw their defense beat Josh Allen, like by them, like not Zach Wilson. Their defense beat Josh Allen. That defense is real. Like Glenn said, a lot of optimism. That's what you have right now. I mean, I'm not like Glenn. Glenn's more optimistic than me, but
no.
No, it's a good thing, Glenn. It's a good thing. Real talk is a good thing. I used to be like you. I wish I had that back. You know, I'm gonna hold you. I wish I had that back.
Hey, look, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them because this team has let me down so many times.
Oh yeah, I know that's right. I need my earbuds out.
Teams has let us down. So
yeah, so true. Man, before we get into all that, let's get to particulars, man. Let's get to particulars real quick. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Gold Everything. Also tweet us at ABG_Everything. Hit us up on IG at ABG_Everything. And like our All Burgundy and Gold Everything Facebook page. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold Everything YouTube channel. Hey, hit the red subscribe button right now. Like this video, then like the video before this. You know what I mean? We're putting out bomb content, so make sure you subscribe to this channel and also like a bunch of our videos. Anyway, it's time for the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. We'll debate whether the Commanders should consider trading Jacoby Brissette to the Jets, and also then we'll talk about the Commanders' upcoming game against the Denver Broncos. Best start off with the Jacoby Brissette talk. On Monday night, New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles, resulting in him being out for the season. There are reports that the Jets are interested in Commanders' backup quarterback Jacoby Brissette. Glenn, I'm gonna start with you. Should they consider trading him to the Jets?
No, not at all. Unless you get some offensive linemen for him. That could come in and play right away. Yeah. You don't. I mean, I think one of the reasons you don't because you was one. Let's think about it. Early on in the game on past Sunday, we were one hit away from playing Jacoby Brissette, right?
True.
I mean, if people forget that Sam Howell actually went to the blue tent.
Oh yeah,
right.
Like he had a concussion. I don't care
and they checked him out. Jacoby Brissette was warming up, getting ready to go on the field. Right. Matter of fact, he was already on the field.
Yeah, he was.
Then Sam Howell came on the field and took Jacoby Brissette back off. So no, man, you don't trade your backup quarterback who can actually run this offense, who looked good in preseason, to the New York Jets unless they give you something that can impact your organization right now, not draft picks down the line, but impact your organization right now. Because let's not forget, this is a must-win season for Ron Rivera and crew.
Ray, what about you, man? You think they should?
No, for the simple fact that you have a new coach in Errrything, and you want to make sure that the quarterbacks you have currently start to become more comfortable in that system. Sam Howell especially, but Jacoby Brissette, because as you mentioned, if there is an injury, you're going to need your quarterback to be prepared. And Jacoby Brissette at one point in the preseason, he didn't look very good, and fans got concerned. So the fact that he has time to watch and he's looking at Sam Howell's mistakes and he's seeing Eric Bieniemy on the sideline, everything that he's preaching and coaching, I think it's a great environment to remain in. and you don't want to bring somebody off the street. You already went through Carson Wentz, who was one of the top names out there on the market, along with a guy like Matt Ryan. I think Brissett is a serviceable backup and somebody who's learning and soaking up a lot from Eric Bieniemy.
We put this out there, put a poll out there on Twitter with the same question. 76% said yes, 24% said no. I'm on the side of no. I don't think you make this trade just because if you watch Sam Howell play, and not the play, say his play was bad or anything like that, but he takes a lot of chances in terms of getting hit. You know what I mean? We saw the same thing with RG3. Where he just didn't slide, he would just take hits. Like he would show that he was this tough guy. Which what happens is when you're trying to show these these NFL defenders that if you're a tough guy, they're gonna knock you out. You know what I mean? So you don't want to put yourself in a situation where Sam Howell wants to play hero ball and he gets knocked out, and then you don't have a security plan. And a lot of people are talking about Jake Fromm, like, well, we got Jake Fromm, and Jake Fromm looked good in the preseason, folks. That's the preseason. Jacoby Brissett was a starter in this league. When we played last year with the Browns, he's been a good backup. He's won games in his league, which is it's hard. It's hard to win NFL games, and he's done that in this league. Not to say that he's a franchise quarterback, but if you got a backup who can win you football games, why would you want to trade that away when you know that the guy that you have behind the guy you have starting is a guy that there's a chance if we're going off of game one, there's a chance that he could get hurt. Like he could get hurt. There's a good chance that he could get hurt playing that way. So I think that you have to keep with Jacoby Brissett, and also. Like I hear folks talking about the Jets. The Jets aren't going to trade an offensive lineman to the Commanders because the Jets' offensive line is trash too. Why would they give up somebody if their offensive line isn't good? Why would they give up somebody that's probably one of their best individuals on their line, which isn't good, and that weakens their team? You know what I mean? That weakens a backup quarterback. It's not like you're dealing with Aaron Rodgers. You're dealing with Jacoby Brissett. He's gonna need a good offensive line to play well. You know what I mean? So or Zach Wilson, he's gonna need a decent offensive. The best offensive line that you can put out there to play well. So to me, trading an offense, folks will be like, let's take and trade offensive lineman. That's not even in the cards. If it's a second round pick, then yeah. But again, you're not trading a second round pick for Jacoby Brissett. You're not trading a second round pick for a backup. No one does that. You know what I mean? Like, look at some of the great quarterbacks that have been traded. Like, they rarely get. Some of them get like you get the like. Look at Trey Lance, a young dude. What did you get? What did the Cowboys get for Trey Lance? I mean, what did the Cowboys have to give up to get Trey Lance? Not like basically peanuts. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna you're not gonna throw a second rounder and say, "Hey, I want Jacoby Brissett. Give me a second round." Like here's the second rounder for Jacoby Brissett. You're not gonna do that. So to me, I don't think the trade is really gonna. It's not a trade is gonna happen. I know a lot of people are talking about it, and I know the Jets are considering it, but Washington, where they're at, I don't see them taking a fifth rounder to give away to let Jacoby Brissett go because he is valuable to this franchise. Because he's valuable because he's a vet, and the young boy Sam Howell's going to need him to learn to lean on. And also, again, Sam Howell, just because of what we saw in week one, you can't say that he's a safe quarterback. It's not safe enough.
I like the teams that are successful and how they build. And one thing I noticed, for example, when Tom Brady went down to New England one season, Matt Castle stepped in, and they still won football games. They still won 11 games.
Yep.
The Ravens are a great example. Right up the road, they continue to win football games even when their quarterback is out. That's what you want to build when you have a system in place. I'm not saying your style of play doesn't change, but you can continue to play a winning brand of football, and that's what Washington is trying to build here.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know everybody's in love with Fromm. I think that's why they want to throw it out there. Like, should we trade Brissett? Because Fromm played so well in preseason. And I like Matt Fromm. Jake Fromm. I thought he played well in preseason, to be honest with you. I thought he was good. I was impressed with his play. But it's preseason. You know what I mean? Like, there's still a body of work that you need to have in the regular season. If a backup can win you NFL games, bro, at a good level, not to say you win in like 10, 13 games, but you win in like a good amount of games, that's valuable. Glenn, you had something you want to say?
Yeah, it is valuable. You said that. You know, I think you talked about Jacoby Brissett being the starter in this league. You know, there's value that's there. He needs to stay in Washington because, again, you need that safety valve. And we all know it. It's not push panic button, but it is a pivotal season for EB.
Yeah.
It's a pivotal season for Ron Rivera. It's a pivotal season for this offense. They have to be able to prove themselves with new ownership, and you want everybody in the house. You want your cards. You want your team stacked the best you can. You don't want to get rid of pieces that could help you.
Definitely. My man on our Facebook page, James Manny Austin said nope. Jeremy Stewart said yes, and Fromm to back up. See Jake Fromm. And Jonathan Duff said no. I don't think anymore. That's it.
Can I make a plea to some of these folks who
ahead,
are
bro.
Jake Fromm supporters? I like Jake Fromm as a person just because I followed his career. And, of course, he was on the QB1 show at one point in high school. Man, good kid, really good kid. I like him a lot. But Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh all but said after game 1, the reason why we didn't look the same against the 49ers in this first regular season game is because we played against mostly backups in the preseason. So this was a wake-up call, like, okay, we have some work to do. Versus most people coming into that first game thought the Steelers were a legit contender to win a very tough division. Not saying that they can't. We know Mike Tomlin's great. But what I'm saying is they had a dose of reality because the preseason is so much different. So I want people to consider that. These are the same people. I watch these fans do this every year. We remember when Colt Brennan was. I mean, I know he passed away. When he was on the roster, people were saying we can start him. Jason Campbell was on his team. You also have what's the quarterback from Iowa's name? Chase Daniel, who was on Missouri. My bad. Missouri. It's like why would you want to put Colt Brennan over 2 quarterbacks who prove themselves at a much higher level? You're insane. But again, people look at the eye test. We saw this with Heineke last season. I don't understand it, and I'm trying to appeal to these folks to let them know that there's levels to this, basically.
Yo, there's levels to this. You're so right. I'm about to skip that last question. Hey, Glenn, take us to the next question. I'm skipping because I feel like this is like doesn't even matter about in terms of.
Hey, Sunday the Commanders travel to Denver to take on the Broncos. Is this game more winnable after what you saw week 1 for both teams? Well,
it's winnable.
Stupid question.
Sorry. It's winnable. Yeah, I know it. Thank you. I created that question. You're right.
I'll let you go first.
I will open the curtains on for this show. I'll let folks see what's behind the scenes. I think it's both winnable because I think Russ still looks like the old Russ. When I mean old Russ, last year's Russ. You know what I'm saying? He ain't special. He don't look special to me. But I'm scared of Denver's defense. Like that's one. I think Denver's defense is legit. Like I think, like to me, Patrick Surtain II is that dude. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think it's winnable. I think, but both teams, their first game, they didn't put their best output out there in terms of offense. I don't think. You know what I mean? Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, they didn't have an outcome that they wanted offensively. You know what I'm saying? In the close game to the Raiders, falling to the Raiders at home. Washington, we talked about it on the post game, so I don't have to be redundant. What I thought about their play, but I do think at the end of the day, this game is more winnable compared to what my thought process was prior to the season. Like I look at the schedule, I said Sean Payton. If I'm going off the first game, right? Just going off the first game. It's not like saying they can't turn on and be like, boom, they start smashing folks. But from off the first game, yeah, I think it's more winnable than what I saw when you're looking at this. When the season comes out, when the season schedule comes out, and you're like, okay, Denver should be different because Sean Payton, Russell, he has Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson should be a better player, and they're gonna have Judy and Sutton. Judy's probably not gonna play. You're only gonna have Sutton. So yeah, this game is more winnable compared. It's definitely more winnable compared to what I've seen. I mean, in terms of what I saw week 1. Right.
It's on me now. Okay.
Yeah,
so
go ahead, bro.
First of all, we already know every game in the NFL. I didn't gonna say it. I don't understand this whole.
Look, what you talking about? Every game. Every game is not winnable, dude. Every game is not winnable. The Giants, like I said, the Cowboys was not a winnable game.
Stop. Because nobody predicted it was gonna be that bad. Even though we all picked the Cowboys, as far as I know.
Exactly.
Even Wole picked the Cowboys.
Even I picked the Cowboys.
That's saying something.
That says something.
Here's the thing. And shout out to HBCUs. If you watch the other show, man, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
We talked about Damon Wilson on that show at Morgan State. Listen, building a new system is difficult. Yeah, Sean Payton in year 1, I don't expect him to be a juggernaut for real because I feel like it's going to take him a while. I don't even know if he's in love with Russell Wilson, who, in my opinion, didn't look bad week 1. Look at his numbers. He wasn't that bad. You know,
I watched the game. Don't watch the game. That's why
they should have put up more points. Yes, and that's the challenge. But here's the thing: it is not about Denver. When you got a defense with the talent that Washington has, I feel as though it's not about what another team has. It's about knowing that our defense has enough dogs on it to go in and compete against anybody. All you want to do is see your offense, of course, control time of possession. And when you do get in the red zone, you finish. That's something that Eric Bieniemy teams do. So for real, I don't care who you play. Every game is a winnable game on the season, unless some catastrophic happens where you lose your quarterback or injuries come into play. But in this case, I feel as though Washington should have the edge because the defense has proven to be really, really good. Again, we look at the Arizona game. The Arizona really score offensive touchdown.
No, they play Arizona.
Okay, and I know this is Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, but it's going to take time, just like EB is taking time. So if I had to pick who had a better defense, I'm gonna say Washington, even though I like Denver's defense, and you just alluded to that. But I think Washington, if you look at the skill positions, and you look at the names, and you look at the production, the front four, I think Washington has the edge. Who's the tight end for Denver, Glenn?
It's the
Glenn usually know the stats, man. You
no,
he's
not playing. He's not playing. The starter's not playing. Doach ain't playing.
Okay, it was kind of my point, but Glenn gave me this face, so you messed me up, Glenn. I should have went to Wole, man. But listen, because the middle of the field is what people consider to be Washington's weakness. Is the middle of the field the weakness on the defense? Okay, are you going to have that issue? Russ has exploited that in the past in playing against Washington, but I feel like this season should be different. Washington has the edge going into this game.
I mean, Washington beat Russ last couple of times, but it's okay. Russ ain't that good anymore. But go ahead. Go ahead, Glenn.
I think Washington does have the edge here, and not because of the middle field. I think Washington has the edge here because they can actually set down Denver's running game, right? Denver can sit down running and make Russ one-dimensional as he was last week. If you watch the last week's Raiders game, he became one-dimensional. And a former Washington Redskin was the leading receiver. Samaje Perine was the leading receiver for them last week, right? So that means his receivers are not getting involved as much as they should, and everything's been to check down to a running back, what case may be. So Russ will have some problems if Washington able to get a front four. Now, this is where the scary part comes in for the Washington Commanders is that the Denver defense held Jacobs and the Raiders to 55 yards rushing, 61 yards total rushing last week. So Denver also has so we may see a passing game from Sam Howell in this game to see if Washington can combat that. But I think Washington does have the edge defensively. I think it will be able to give them and special teams why. Hey, look, we always got Trustway, right? So that means when you have a team that's not playing well offensively, and they got to travel 80 yards or 70 yards to score a touchdown, as we saw this week, it becomes difficult. So I think the edge goes to Washington because of special teams. They'll probably be even offensively, but special teams wise, I think Washington gets it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're real similar because I know like Russ struggled. I mean, if you watch the game, Russ struggled. Like if you watch Sam Howell, if you didn't watch Sam Howell's game, you saw a stat line. You would say Sam Howell's game wasn't that bad. You would say it's not that bad. Like you would say, like a rushing touchdown, threw a touchdown pass, and whatever. But he struggled. Sam struggled. Like he did. He struggled. Russ struggled. Like I watched that game. He struggled, bro. Like I mean, God bless you, YouTube TV. Beautiful. Like I watched that game. That dude struggled. Like he didn't look.
He struggled. It was 7.
Yeah, he struggled. Like he
struggled.
Yeah, and the Raiders were in pressure him all day. And I don't think the Raiders front is comparable to Washington's front. So to Ray's point, I don't think they're comparable to Washington's front. So, but like you said, Ray, I totally agree with you. Like it's week one. Like he's still learning Sean Payton. So there's definitely an opportunity for him to get better. Like I don't think that like Sean Payton ain't old boy, ain't Hackett. Like, you know what I mean? So he'll figure something out. And I will say this for Washington, like Sean Payton historically has given Washington fits. Historically, Sean Payton has given Washington fits. You know what I'm saying? Not even Russ. Like Sean Payton is giving this team fits.
It's different.
It's a different team.
It's a different team.
So I agree. I do think that like Washington
don't have Louis.
Yeah.
He ain't got a suitcase with Louis, man. He not Coach Prime. But Coach Prime brought his players with him.
He don't got Breeze. Right?
If this was a few years ago and Peyton brought some guys with him, yeah.
He don't got Breeze.
No. Nah. They're the same height though. Russ and Breeze are the same.
Yeah, same height. Yeah, but I will say, like to your point though, go ahead.
It's week one though. I mean, like I said, I don't want to make too much of it, but I feel like if you're a Washington Commander, that's the attitude you got to have. Like it's us against, it's our stout defense against them. It's not about what they're gonna do. It's about what we're gonna do. We're gonna dictate what happens.
All right, man. So I mentioned. Go ahead, Ray.
No.
All right. So I mentioned corner Patrick Surtain the second. Well, he held Devontae Adams to 2 catches for 11 yards and 6 targets when he was checking them. So do you think McLaurin, Washington's #1 receiver, can be successful against Surtain? I'm gonna start with you, Ray. Let me keep this a buck. I don't think so.
Well,
Man,
you're talking about one of the top corners. That's a tall task, but you have to
win those
look at
matchups,
coaching.
right?
You have to look at coaching. If you're
Sure.
putting your players in the best position to succeed, you call the right plays. You talked about Peyton, how he gets Washington fits. That means he knows how to draw plays. He knows how to game plan for this organization, this team. And I think, again, we're talking about a different offensive coordinator. I don't see anything that can prevent Washington receivers from actually playing well. And it don't matter who's checking them, because I think Eric Bieniemy is just that good. And this is now week 2. It's another opportunity for them to grow and get better. So I think, listen, I'm a big time Eric Bieniemy believer. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I'm thinking that even though Surtain, as great as he is, I love him. You're going against a coach a Super Bowl winning coach who knows how to who knows how to maximize his guys. Sorry.
Facts, bro. What about you, Glenn? Do you think that Sam Howell looks that way when Surtain is on 17?
What are you calling success? Let's define success. What is success?
Oh, I mean, like, catching, like, getting, like, on Surtain. I say getting like 50 yards on Surtain because he's that type dude.
Oh yeah, I mean, McLaurin will get 50 yards.
Devontae Adams couldn't even get 11. Only got 11.
But Devontae Adams didn't have Jahan Dotson on the other side.
True.
And so therefore you can't guard both, right?
Yeah, that's
and so you can't guard. So that means one, if somebody's going to be eaten, somebody's not. Somebody's going to be decoy. Somebody's going to be doubled. Somebody's not. And so if they can be able to find out when Lauren is open and when Jahan is getting doubled, because if Jahan start eating early, you're going to have to slide somebody over to Jahan, right, to that side. And then you go back to Terry, and then Terry may pick his yards up on them. So that's why, Washington has the weapons to be able to pick and choose where they go at, right? Then, Curtis Samuel, we know, is limited in practice. Hopefully he'll play this weekend.
He played well last week, too.
Right, played well last week.
I think lead receiver.
He was lead receiver last week. So now you think about, you take all three of them if they're healthy enough, and Patrick Surtain is only one person, right?
That's true.
So who do you cover? Now, I know the question was Terry McLaurin, but
no, you're right. It's going to the point, though. Yeah,
you got to make sure that everybody's covered and doubled down. So I think Bieniemy is going to try to find a way to get all those guys open, and if one gets shut down, there's two more to be able to get there. So I think Terry does have success by way of Curtis Samuel and Jahan eating early, and Terry maybe eating late or in key situations.
You mentioned that you put out a good point about, Curtis Samuel. He's dealing with a hip injury right now, limited in practice. But if he doesn't play, that means De'Ami Brown has to step up. You also have Jamison Crowder, also that's been signed to the roster anyway. But what does that mean? Like, do you now look at a situation where you see a De'Ami Brown get more playing time, and does that hinder what this offense wants to do when if De'Ami has to step up and be the third receiver? I'm start with you, Glenn.
No, it doesn't. I think those guys, everybody's on that offense or those wide receivers are interchangeable. I think De'Ami can do what Curtis Samuel does. I think De'Ami's fast enough. I think he opened up. But then let's not forget too, you also have Antonio Gibson and some of those guys who can be able to be thrown into the passing play as well, or the passing game as well. So I think this team can survive without a Curtis Samuel. I think this team has enough weapons and enough receivers they can plug guys in. All right. And still get the job done.
Ray, what about you, man? Do you think it changes with De'Ami coming in instead of Curtis Samuel, knowing that what he did last week?
No, I feel like it goes back to coaching, and some, including yourself, Wole, they felt like EB was a bit conservative. So I feel like this is the week where he opens up that playbook a little more, and it doesn't matter who you plug in; it's the system, and these guys are getting it and they're buying in. And I know De'Ami's definitely buying in because he wants to contribute with his guy Sam Howell. And they have chemistry. They have that connection as we talk about, Wole.
The connection. So,
the
connection.
I think De'Ami is just as explosive, and he's capable of doing multifaceted on the offensive end.
No, I agree. I think that De'Ami, there's things you can do because of McLaurin and Jahan is so versatile, because you can actually put De'Ami outside, and McLaurin and Jahan can play inside. Either can play inside. They're good at it. You know what I mean? So you can keep De'Ami outside if that's his preferred spot. And then you can still have those two work inside, you know what I'm saying, or the interchange working inside. You have John working inside, you have Terry working inside. So there's things you can do even with Curtis Samuel if he is out. You know what I mean? I do think that you can, and you can get big play ability with Diami's, because like Ray said, there's chemistry. So Diami's out there on a go route. I bet you, and he has single coverage on him. I best believe Sam Howell's going to locate Diami because of the connection, because they have that bond from North Carolina. And you saw it in preseason, and I would expect Diami, if he is playing, he's suiting up. I would expect Diami, if he is the third receiver, to get some shine that game. I really would. So let's get to it in terms of for Washington win the game. Glenn, I'm gonna start with you. Who needs to ball out, my man? And Chase ain't playing, so we just stopped that right now. So go ahead.
Man, I want to say Brian Robinson. I think the running game has to ball out. They have to be able to run the football in order to get play action, right? In order to neutralize the front four. So you have to get established a running game. So then Eric Bieniemy can open up the playbook with more screens and things of that nature, or take those shots down deep to Dahami, right? When you're not one dimensional. I think this team needs to be more versatile in the way that they run the football and have a good running game and establish a running game early. And so they can pass a little bit later. So I think Brian Robinson need the ball out. Or the running back in general.
I got you. What about you, Ray? I knew you gonna be
in order for that to happen,
I knew that.
The offensive line needs to ball out, my friend. Yeah. Easy. It's the whole offensive line. They gotta show up this week.
They do. I agree with that, bro. For me, I was gonna choose offensive line, but I'm gonna go a different route. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna stay with the consistent. He was consistent. He won the game for him last week. They need another dog performance from Montez Sweat. Consistently be that dog, man. Be that record, man. You want the bag? There's an opportunity to let the world know. Stack up on these sacks early. This is a good start for you. You got 1.5 sacks already. Keep it going. You've always been the dude that this close type of dude in terms of getting sacks. Now you getting home. You creating fumbles. Now it's time to make yourself a household name. So everybody knows and folks know ballers, but the national media know, all right, Montez Sweat here. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is a good opportunity to stack up on sacks. So Montez Sweat has to dominate. And to me, has to dominate this game. Keep Russ in the pocket, because Russ, if you watch Russ in preseason, Russ is running. He's running a little bit more than he did last year. So and we all know mobile quarterbacks give Washington a problem. I guess I can just change it out too. Also, spying Russ is a big key too. I guess I can say that too. So in terms of that, Jamin Davis would need to have a big game, because Russ, I think Russ will try to run and exploit, what Washington struggled over the years in terms of being able to play against mobile quarterbacks. So I would say that. I would say Jamin Davis, and also I'm cheating. Jamin Davis, and also my man Montez Sweat. So. But yeah, man, I think this is. I think we're pretty much done. This is a good one. It's amazing. We keep it nice and short and sweet. But I want to do predictions, but I don't want to do it today. I think we can do that pregame, right, Glenn? That makes sense, right?
Yeah, we do pregame.
Pregame. We don't do predictions. Yeah, we don't do predictions. You know what I'm saying? And we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hey, before we let y'all go, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Just search all Burgundy and Go Errrything. Also tweet us at ABG_Errrything. Hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything. And our All Burgundy and Go Errrything Facebook page. Hey, make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Errrything YouTube channel as well. Again, hit that red subscribe button. Like this video. Keep it going, man. Keep supporting the grind. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to keep giving y'all great content. You know, man, Glen out here popping out some good-ass content, real talk. I'm just keeping it real like you have, dog. Glen has been the man, dog. You know what I'm saying? Gotta give people their flowers, bro. You just got to do it. Glen has, man. But anyway, appreciate everybody for tuning in. You've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. You dig? Deuces. Peace out, everybody.